Welcome to Sturge Entropia. This is Sturge with episode 3 of the Beginner's Crafting Guide here in the Entropia universe, and today I'm going to talk specifically about skills versus professions. And the reason for this is that I've never seen a video go into really good depth explaining how your skill gains affect your profession level and how you can use that information to better help you decide what blueprints you want to craft at your level to maximize your not only your returns, but you minimize your losses. And in the second part of the video, I want to go into a discussion about limited versus unlimited blueprints and how that affects success rate, your skill level, and affects the success rate of those blueprints, and how to acquire limited versus unlimited blueprints that you really want to craft with, things that are planet specific that you can't buy at the technician. So let's quickly bring up the professions window and look at this. I've achieved 91 of the 92 professions available. And I want to look at mechanical engineering versus the engineering skill that we got last episode on Monria. How that skill, the engineering skill, affected my mechanical engineering level. And I don't have that actual footage. I'm not going to show you that exactly. I'm just going to show you that if you look under professions, there is no engineering profession. Engineering is a skill. And I want you to be able to keep that in mind, because I think it's confusing for people when you're looking at this data, and it's never been broken down, I think, in few words, so it's concise and you can understand how that works. But I'm going to use tailoring as my example. Just bear in mind, last week we got 75 PEC in engineering, and that increased my mechanical engineering level just a little bit over 16. So I want to show you the Daily Lesser Alicia challenge here, and where we're going to get 40 PEC in make textile skill, and then that is going to have a very large contribution to tailoring, though my tailoring skill is not going to change. So currently my make textile points are 1454, and my tailoring is 123. And we can see I'm able tailor with 86.75% of the way to level 15 tailoring, which is an important level, and it unlocks a hidden skill there. And that hidden skill will give me a small contribution toward my tailoring profession down the road. Now, initially, we can go to the Entropia wiki page, and we can look, if we want to look up a very specific skill, we can do just that. We can just look up, there are 165 skills. Some of them are hidden, some of them are not. And we can go through there if we really want to get in depth with each and every one of the skills. Now, I realize I said I was going to do tailoring, but let me show you engineering skill first, and then I can give you a better idea and understanding of how skills contribute to professions. So here we are. The skill is science, and then it's under engineering, and we can see that if we hit K, in the game, and see, okay, that's right, engineering is under science profession. And the next thing we would see here is all these other professions in here: carpenter, driller, archaeologist. And you would say, well, why does it say percentage? Skill effect is a percentage. Because then if you added all those up, that'd be way more than 100%. And that's where I think it gets very confusing. Once you click on that sub-profession, and you'll see that its contribution does add up to 100% once you're actually in the specific sub-profession. So here, mechanical engineer, right, highlighted, it's 30% skill effect contribution. And if we go to the profession mechanical engineer, then we can see where that contribution is coming from. So science, engineering, it's the third one down. The skill effect is a 30% increase. That's all. So whenever you gain skill in engineering, 30% of that skill that you gain goes toward your mechanical engineering level. It's that simple. You'll note mechanical engineering is just a profession. It doesn't actually have points. It's the engineering skill that has points, and that's where these percentage contributions come from. And I think originally it's really confusing on that first skill versus profession table. If you add up all the skill effect percentages right here from mechanical engineering, you will find they add up to 100%. Okay, now let's look at tailoring and how tailor is affected, that profession is affected by science and engineering, interestingly enough. And it should be. I mean, there should be some small amount of a contribution here. We could see 20% skill effect. And then we got to move away from that chart into the tailoring profession itself. And let me highlight it down here on the bottom. And we can see that science and engineering has a 20% skill effect toward tailoring. So that's how simple it is. It's because we're going to get points in science and engineering, not in tailoring. And then in a minute, I'm going to show you I'm going to get 40 PEC in make textile, which is going to affect the tailoring profession. But make textile is a skill. And then the last thing to note under the profession tailor is at level 15, I unlock the fashion design skill for tailoring. And that's going to have a small contribution. As you can see, it's at an 8% contribution to my tailoring profession as I go forward. So I want to unlock that skill as quickly as possible. And then you can see the tree here of skill ranks. I'm not going to go into too much detail there. I think it's self-explanatory. But I do want you to see that I'm going to go from 14 to 15. We already saw the numbers for make textile 1454. So I'm going to go to actually into level 15 here in the tailoring profession. All right, Sturge, stop screwing around. Let's get this done. Let's see what happens when we talk to May and we turn in our daily Lesser Alicia challenge and the points we get. And it's funny because it actually takes the algorithm a second to figure out what's going on. But there we go. Boom. I gained 1 experience in fashion design skill, which unlocked that skill. I have gained 38.3828 experience in make textile skill. And it says, of course, you've acquired this new skill. That's pretty darn cool. And now we can take a look at how that 38.3828, how 39% of that skill actually goes toward my tailoring profession level. So let me reopen the professions window and the skills windows, and we can see in the professions window I am tailor able 15. So that was expected. And then we look over here on the skills side, and make textile went from 1454 to 1492 skill points. That's what I got from that 40 PEC contribution reward from the daily Lesser Alicia challenge. And my tailoring skill didn't change. And I think that's where I used to get confused. And if I got confused, I'm certain many people got confused as well, is that even though my tailoring skill increased by almost 40%, it didn't really change my tailoring skill points. The tailoring skill points come from actually crafting blueprints, where you'll get a skill gain there. And it's obviously a lot different. This particular make textile daily Lesser Alicia challenge reward is epic. I mean, as epic as the engineering skill reward you get on Monria. Boy, if that isn't evident, I have come from level 8 to level 15 in tailoring, doing just a few of these days. I mean, maybe 10 or 12, 15 at the most of these daily Lesser Alicia challenge deals. And I've done tons of the mechanical engineering, which is the engineering reward, the 75 PEC engineering reward on Monria for the daily D6, so waiting on supplies mission. You could see this contribution is huge, and that's why you've got to do those missions to get those skills. It may suck to try to craft Lesser Alicia, but better do that and get this huge skill gain and boost, other than just getting that nickel and dime fraction of a point here and there. You get those anyway, but these missions give you that big boost that you need to get into the next blueprint and the next blueprint and the next blueprint. Speaking of blueprints, let's talk about those next. Okay, so here's the raw footage I have from that daily Lesser Alicia challenge that I just turned in. You just saw that one. So here I'm at 49.1 quality rating with a 90.5% success rate. I've already done about 22 clicks or so on this particular mission, or at least I've gotten 19. Okay, 19 successes so far. What I want to show you is blueprint drops from this particular run, so then we can take those blueprint drops and look at those and start to look at the difference between this blueprint, which is an unlimited blueprint with a quality rating that slowly increases towards 100, and then unlimited blueprints, which have only a number of clicks. Their quality rating literally is the value. Each click is worth a peck. Okay, you can see here, chugging right along, 61 clicks. Got a couple of quality rating increases in there, which is real nice. But the next click here is the one I want you to see. 3.9 PED, and I get a striped carpet blueprint with a value of 62 peck. And that's a limited blueprint. And I think that's important because you'll see now that I'm running a lesser Alicia blueprint, which is a tailoring blueprint, even though it's a materials blueprint. And so the drops I get are blueprints of the same type. Okay, now we're near the end of that particular run. We're up on, 78 clicks. 79, and I get a 3.28 PED success, and I get the medium tide insignia curtain blueprint. And again, there you have another tailoring blueprint. And that's because I'm running basically a tailoring blueprint, and therefore the limited or unlimited blueprints I might get as a drop are going to be tailoring blueprints. And you can see, look at my inventory here. This is loaded with these darn things. Here's the medium tide insignia curtain. It has 41 clicks, but I want you to notice the success rate on it. Yes, it's very high, isn't it? Now let's take a look here at the striped carpet blueprint, and I have like 1.56 PED in value. Because these limited blueprints stack, oftentimes what happens is when I get another one, they just stacks on top of the second one. But see, one's a level 4, the insignia curtain's a level 4, the striped carpet is a level 3 tailoring blueprint. That's the message to take home today, is that if you want a specific type of blueprint, you go to a planet that has that blueprint as a drop, and you craft using something inside of your wheelhouse, inside of your skill level. And so my skill level happens to be for this particular lesser Alicia, all right? And it's not that great. I'm only getting 90.5% success, but I still get those blueprint drops that are tailoring blueprints because the lesser Alicia blueprint I'm crafting is a tailoring blueprint, despite being a materials blueprint. It has the insignia, the icon of a tailoring blueprint, and thus I'm going to get all of these different, and they're all going to be, curtains or valances or carpets and stuff like that, but that's okay. I know that on Next Island, that's what I'm going to get. Now, if I go to a different planet, if I take the lesser Alicia blueprint to Toulon, I'm going to get completely different blueprints there, and they're going to be probably more Toulon specific. I'm just getting what happens to drop on Next Island here because that's what I'm doing. Lastly, I want to talk about limited versus unlimited blueprints. I've already made a little bit of mention about it, but I want to show you how success rate is different for unlimited versus limited blueprints. Now we're looking at the lesser Alicia blueprint up the top there, 49.7 QR rating, and I have 90.5% success rate. So the contribution from the QR rating is quite large to getting the success rate because I far exceed the skill level needed to use it, which is 0. Here's a decorative magic flower. I need to be 0 carpenter to use this. The learning period is 0 to 5. I have a QR of 1.3, 81.6%. So in that particular instance, while my carpenter is good, the QR rating is the major contribution to the success rate over 80%. Here's my basic filters blueprint with a 58.7 QR rating and success rate of 91.5. So if that's I don't craft a tremendous amount of basic filters, and I don't know that you necessarily need to either. You don't necessarily need to grind them. What you need to do is find Listerium Texture Blueprint L. See, it's a limited blueprint. 90 clicks, but it has 95% success. If I go down to the bottom here, Stelbriggen trousers, chef's hat, chef's pan, gloves, footwear, all 95%, and they're all limited blueprints. And so all we need to do then is click on success rate at the top there, and we see, lo and behold, yes, anything, as a general rule, 95% success rate is going to be associated with a limited blueprint that you have passed out of the learning period in skill and then you'll get 95% success. That's the message here. And I want to show you just as an example here. Last example, I have this armament device blueprint, right? And it's 94, the basic vehicle suspension, okay, 95%. Armament device, limited blueprint, 25 clicks, 94.5% success rate. And that is coming from my skill level. My vehicle engineer is 9.9 out of 5. But if you look at the learning period, it's 5 to 10. So once I hit 10, this will become a 95% success rate blueprint for me. And the reason I'm showing you this is so that you can start to say, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get this engineering skill, or I'm going to get this vehicle engineering skill, which will be next week's video, and I'm going to show you how to do that using missions, daily missions, where possible, but there are also one-off missions and so forth to get these blueprints, so then you have the highest. Don't even start crafting until you have 95% success rate. And then you can make things that have value, like this PRX Unlimited, PRX Superstar, right? This ArcPig V, the Speed Bike, Armament, device number 1, whatever. All of those limited blueprints, you want to craft them at 95% success. And if you can get the good ones to drop, and then you can actually make, let's say in this instance, a vehicle, the PRX Superstar or something, you can sell that for markup. And then that, every success, that markup gives you the value. Your skills are going to be increasing, but that you're not losing ped over and over and over, just crafting away. And the other thing I definitely need to show you is, we got to find the technician here. And I mentioned this earlier, the reason you pick up every single blueprint on every planet is because they all will aid in dropping the type of blueprint that you want. Here we've got attachments, tools, armor, weapons, we've got component. Those, you use those blueprints to craft on other planets to get the blueprints that you want. That was why I said in the beginning, buy every single blueprint that you could get on Calypso. That included the basic filters blueprint. Now, what you want to do is go to every planet and pick up their specific blueprint. And then you go to a different planet and use that to craft on a different planet. I realize this video is a little longer than normal. There were a lot of things to cover, but I think now you have a very, very good idea of skills versus professions and how skills and skill gain points affect your profession level. And then now we know 95% success rate blueprints tend to be limited blueprints that you're out of the learning period on. And so you can start crafting at 95% success rate without a quality 100 blueprint. And so that means that you're not losing as much. I hope all of this information sort of comes together and ties together so that you can say, all right, Sturge, now I'm ready to start crafting. Now I can maximize my success rate. Now I can maximize my skill gains and go for the things I want to go for. Vehicles, armor, whatever, components. Doesn't matter. You got almost all the information you need. All right, well, thank you all for watching. This is Sturge signing off until next week. Ciao for now.